Hi, everybody. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. We're going to talk about one tip, one thing you can do that can absolutely bump up your sales. And not only can it bump up your sales, it can do it quite rapidly. It can do it within 24 hours. And I bring this up. This is something I was working on with a seller friend. And I thought to myself, hey, let's go live with this and share it with the eBay selling community. So come on in, and let's look at this part of your eBay listing that can dramatically increase your sales and do it quickly. And I bring it up as something that can help your sales quickly because there are things that are great, but they take a little bit of time. For instance, everybody knows that I love to do social media. And I was actually thinking of Pinterest because Pinterest has been in the news, if you haven't noticed. Their earnings are up. They just had a stock report and they're doing very nicely. Yay, Pinterest. And Pinterest is fabulous. And I love Pinterest and I use Pinterest and I work with private clients and I help them with their Pinterest. But Pinterest is long term. When you're pinning on Pinterest, you'll very rarely see results like within 24, 48 hours. Pinterest is very much long term. And it's also really, really good if you're working like a season ahead. So for instance, in January, February, you would be looking at spring. You'd be looking at Mother's Day, Father's Day. At the beginning of the summer, you'd be looking at back to school in the fall. Then like midsummer, you'd be looking at fourth quarter. So Pinterest is really, really good when you're basically planning a season ahead. And Pinterest is very, very good because Google loves Pinterest. And if you want tips on that, you hop over to my website, ilovetobeselling.com, and look for my social media cheat sheet under free tips. But what I was going to share with you, hi, David, how are you? Is a tip that can work quite rapidly. And David's talking about when he's doing time away. So this can help you when you come back from time away, but this can help you when you notice your sales have really slowed up for some reason. Sometimes people take breaks. You know, you've got family stuff going on and you just slow up on your eBay listings. You may slow up on your social media sharing. And when you slow up from your typical behavior, and I talk about this. So when you're noticing slow sales, and it sort of comes up on you, like you've been shipping a certain amount a day, like 2 or 3 a day, or 5 or 6 a day, or 10 or 15 a day or more. And then all of a sudden there's a big change. First thing to always look at is if your pattern for what you do for your eBay selling, so either your listing, your optimizing, your social media, if any of that has dramatically changed, running sales if you have a store. So if all of a sudden you notice a slowdown or a shift or certain things that have typically been selling for you, certain categories get really slow, just look at, have I changed anything? Like if I typically run, 20% off sales once a week, did I not run any sales recently? If I typically list, X amount a day, have I changed that just because, let's say, a family member has been sick and I needed to pay attention to them? So just always take a look at that. But this is one thing that can super, super help you kick up your sales if you haven't revisited this recently. And that is your return policy. And before everybody runs screaming out of the room, because I know when you bring up the word returns, right? Sellers are like, oh, don't talk to me about returns. Is, first of all, it's a part of selling. It happens. As much as we would all love to sell and never get a return, it does happen. Certain categories are more prone to returns than other categories. Typically, categories like collectibles, at least in my experience in working with sellers, it's very rare to get returns in collectibles because they are very unique. Again, unless for some reason it gets damaged in transit, or there was some kind of really serious flaw in the collectible that was not disclosed, like you just overlooked it and they spotted it as soon as it came in the door. There's things like that, but typically collectibles is not a high return category. Something like clothing can be, and really it's a matter of fit. It's not that you haven't done your job in describing. You can put all the measurements. I mean, you can absolutely do due diligence. And when they get it, it just doesn't fit them the way they thought, or they just don't like the way it looks. Items can be mistagged. I was actually talking to an eBay rep today about this. I shop a lot on eBay. So you can buy an item that's tagged large, and the seller, in all due diligence, they may not have done measurements because it has a new retail tag on it. They look at it. They have no reason to believe it's not a large or a medium or whatever it is. but it is mistagged. Perhaps they aren't that familiar with the brand, so they're not aware of the fact that that's not a large, it's a small or a medium. I've had the thing where I've bought a large and I get it, and it's a children's large. It's not a woman's large. And again, the seller just isn't that familiar with the brand. Perhaps at the store, wherever they bought it, the thrift store or the retail store, it was in the wrong department, which is why it could be tagged for clearance. Why they got it for such a good deal and they're selling it on eBay. So to look at your return policy, I realize that there are sellers that do not take returns, and they have their reasons for doing that. By and large, it's not wise to not take returns. Now, if you are selling in categories like custom, anything that's done custom, if you're selling in categories like bullion, there's precious metals. I mean, there's categories where you don't do returns. But by and large, you do want to do returns. And what's best is you're going to be doing 30-day returns, and then you're going to decide whether you're going to do free returns or if you're going to do buyer paid returns. And especially when you're a newer seller, I would definitely err on the side of doing buyer paid returns, because you're new to eBay and you don't know what you're going to get returns on, and you don't know what you're not going to get returns on. So, and eBay is going to certainly push free shipping at you because they do that. And that's because buyers like it. The reason buyers like it is it's easy. It's $9.99 free shipping. I don't have to do any math. It's $12.99, $24.99, $59.99, whatever it is. It's just because it's easy. But especially when you're newer, or if you're a little nervous with doing returns, is to do, when you're selling your item, don't roll the shipping in. Don't do free shipping. And the reason for that is when you get an item back, so back to my cell phone. So if you get the cell phone case back and you've done free shipping, you typically need to refund the entire amount. So if this was $9.99 free shipping and they're returning it, and even it could be like, I don't like purple, right? Typically, you still have to refund the entire amount. So that's why better to do $9.99 with $3.99 shipping, because then when I get it back, I'm only refunding the $9.99. I'm not refunding my shipping cost, okay? It's just easier that way. So take a look at that, which is absolutely take returns, charge for shipping, refund the item price. You don't have to refund the shipping on a return when they've changed their mind or whatever. Also, when they return for fit, because you have put the measurements in, it's not like you did anything wrong. They just don't like the way it fitted. The reason I bring up having a return policy, you may not be aware of this. Return policy is part of the criteria for best match on eBay. Best match is eBay's default search. So when you log on to eBay, whether you are on a desktop or if you are on a phone, when you go onto eBay and you search purple cell phone case, the search that eBay is going to pull up is best match. If the shopper is not aware of the fact that they can change the search criteria, so they can search it, they can change it to price and shipping lowest first, or price and shipping highest first. I'm not sure why they'd want to do that, but what the heck. They can search by item location that it's closest to them. But if they don't know that they can change the search criteria, it is best match on eBay, and oftentimes that is all the shopper is searching on. There's filters, so they might be filtering by color and condition and size and pattern, plaid, polka dots, period, mid-century modern, Victorian, but the search they're searching in is best match. Your return policy, and particularly for my sellers that are in competitive categories, and just about every category now is highly competitive, this can help you. So if you notice that a lot of your competition, let's say they don't take returns, or let's say they do 30-day returns, but they're having the buyer pay return shipping, and you've been selling in the category for a while. Let's say it's puzzles or games or vases or wine glasses, and you know that it's very rare that you get one back. You could go for it and go for free returns and see how that goes for you. Why? because it can incentivize eBay search because you'll be offering free returns and the other sellers don't. And I want to show you this, and so you're not taking my word for it, but you see eBay about optimizing your listings for best match, because this is eBay telling you this. And I always cite my sources so that you know where I'm getting my information from. So if you Google eBay best match, you will see this. And this is optimize your listings for best match. I encourage you to read through this. It's great material from eBay. And scroll down, and we're going to read this together, okay? How best match works. And one of the ways it works, hang on, go back over here, optimize for best match, is how closely the listing matches the buyer's search terms. Because obviously if they're searching for a purple cell phone case and you're not selling a purple cell phone case, let's say you're selling a purple purse, your listing is not going to search because they're looking for a cell phone case, how popular it is, right? That's typically if you have a multi-quantity listing, and some of them have already sold. So eBay knows that your listing's popular because some of your items have sold. The price, so just let you know the price does matter. The quality of your listing, and that's going to be that you have a good description and photos. And I have information on that on my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrell. I love to be selling, so take a look at that. I have a lot of tips and YouTubes on quality of your listing. How complete it is, that means you filled everything out. The listing terms of service, such as your return policy and your handling time. And I'm going to say that again, your return policy. So if you are not taking returns, and a lot of your competition is taking returns, and again, this can be in areas like collectibles and vintage, because you might think my item is so unique and collectible, and it might be, you might be the only one, but there might be other ones that are similar. So you have the only vase that's exactly like that, but there might be one, let's say, that's a lighter blue, or perhaps that's a pink, or has a little more, instead of star detailing, it has, I'm trying to think of something, circle detailing. So it's similar. Okay. Your return, I'm going to keep saying this, your return policy is part of the criteria for best match. The other thing about return policy, just food for thought, is, so I shop a lot on eBay. I shop for my husband on eBay. I shop for myself on eBay. I shop for things for my home on eBay. I shop clothing, home decor, a lot of stuff I shop on eBay. I'm not looking to return anything, right? I want to like it. I want to get the item and that it's like, yes, this is perfect. I want it that when I get the shirt for my husband and he tries it on, that he loves it. You get to hear honking of New York City. But you know what? Every now and then, again, sometimes the item's mistagged. So the seller they didn't know. The other thing is he just doesn't like it. You know, I mean, it's a little too big in the shoulders, even though they had all the measurements. It's like just the way it hangs on him. It just doesn't look quite right. So that you can easily return it. Okay. And that's what it's about, is you want to make it easy for the shopper. Again, not that they're looking to return, but that if they need to, that they can return. Okay. And then it's not a hard, arduous process. Very simply too, we on eBay, we are in competition with other platforms. You want to make it easy for the buyer because you want them to get their money back and that they're going to be back and shopping on eBay more. I'm sure I'm not alone, that there's plenty of other eBay sellers where I'll have a shopper return something back to the cell phone case. They return it. They just decide they don't like purple. They want red. And I have had shoppers say to me, you made this so pleasant. Thank you so much. And guess what? They bought something else with me. And some of these people have now turned into some of my most avid repeat buyers, right? And you know, it's that whole thing of treat people the way that you would like to be treated. Yes, there are stinkers. Yes, there are stinkers, right? It does happen, but they are few and far between. Okay. So my counsel to you is take a return. Yes, if you don't take returns, the buyer can message you and ask to return something and you can accept the return. The thing with something like that is you have to have a buyer that knows eBay and knows that they can do that. eBay's working very hard to bring us buyers. You'll notice with your buyers many times, I know, especially this is the holidays. So, and again, it's going to happen around Mother's Day, Father's Day, you know, the big holiday periods. You'll have people come in and you are their first purchase on eBay. perhaps their second or their third purchase on eBay, and they're used to other sites. They're not used to sites that don't take returns on everything. So they don't know that they can message you if you say no returns. They just know they got something, they're unhappy, and now they're stuck. And either they donate it, they hand it to a friend, or they throw it away. And then they may not be happy with their eBay shopping experience. And we want them to be happy with their eBay shopping experience because then they come back and they shop with us more. I want that I'm sowing seed, not just for myself. Of course, I want them to come back and shop with me again, but they go and they shop with the other wonderful eBay sellers. So my counsel to you is, and you will hear some people, I call them, and they will say, they'll tell terrible stories about being ripped off and just all kinds of stuff. And just know that's very few and far between. That most of the eBay shoppers are absolutely superb. Otherwise, eBay wouldn't be in business and you wouldn't have the hundreds of thousands of eBay sellers that there are. It just wouldn't exist. It's few and far between. You're better off to take the return. It makes for a happier buying experience. And also, you're standing behind your product. Hey, if there's any problem, you get a hold of me and we'll work it out. You'll ship it back to me. Maybe a little something happened in transit. I'll give you a partial refund, whatever it is. But that you stand behind your product and you're there to help your customer and make sure that they have the best shopping experience. By offering a return policy, you are helping your item in best match. Best match is eBay's default search. So when people say, well, how can I show up in search better? Your return policy is part of how you show up in eBay search. Okay? I've got a wonderful offer for you right now. I just ran a boot camp in January, New Year's Sales Success Boot Camp. And I taped the entire week. It was 7 days of eBay selling, eBay tips on inventory and sourcing and how to run an eBay business with and without an eBay store for full and part-time sellers. This is very limited. I only have these videos on sale through February 8th, which is tomorrow, Tuesday night, midnight. So if you want them, do come and grab them. They're super reasonably priced. I have got them on my website, ilovetobeselling.com. And let me just show you the offer. You can come and grab it and tell your friends. And 10% of the proceeds are going to Lorianne Wong's food pantry in Atlanta, Georgia, Reflections of Trinity. So look for the banner on my website, New Year's Sales Success 2022 one-time offer. It's fantastic. I mean, you get a week of videos of me just going into all kinds of details like this. Also social media tips. I've also got 2 freebie PDFs that go with that. It's super reasonably priced. And then a portion of the proceeds are going to go to Lori's Food Pantry. So grab the one-time offer while it's there. If you're hearing this after February 8th, it's not available, but enjoy the free tips that I offer you. But do a return policy. Please listen to all the wonderful sellers that do return policies. And thankfully, we have very few, bad situations that happen. The few that do happen are few and far between. The good shoppers on eBay far outweigh the few stinkers. And the big thing with doing a nice return policy is you're helping your items index better in eBay search. And that's the improvement I promised you with sales, because if you have no returns and then you switch to returns, or if you have categories where you never get returns, I encourage you to try the free returns. Again, I say try it, see how it goes. Why? Because that can help you in the best match criteria. And when you change your return policy, you're immediately getting re-indexed in the eBay system. I mean, that is a change in your listings, and eBay, the algorithms immediately get fed that information. So that's good for you to do. So take a look at your return policy, because improving it can absolutely help you in best match, which is the default search engine both on desktop and on mobile. Okay. And grab that one-time New Year boot camp offer that's on my website. You'll love the videos, and you're helping Lorianne Wong's Food Pantry in Atlanta, Georgia area. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling.